Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and today I am going to make a spiral bound notebook. I love projects like these because you don't need a lot of pattern paper. So if you just are down to maybe the last few sheets of a paper pad, this is a great project to use up the rest of it. And they also make really great presents because if you have a binding machine like the We Are Makers Cinch, it really does make this very, very easy to do in just a matter of minutes. What I'm doing right now is cutting down some plain copy paper. Nothing special, it's not lined or dotted or gridded or anything, but certainly if you do have notebook papers or graph paper, you could definitely use that as well. I'm just using plain copy paper and I've cut those sheets down to 4x6. And this notebook will ultimately be able to fit, I think I counted it out to be 75 sheets of paper. Then I am going to cut from some heavyweight cardstock, 120-pound cover weight, 2 cover pieces. These have been cut to 4 3/8 by 6. So the height is the same, they're both 6 inches, but this is going to be a little bit wider. It's 4 3/8 inch wide. The other little feature that I want to add to this notebook is to create a pocket divider. So I'm cutting down some lightweight cardstock to 8.5 by 8. And along that 8-inch edge, I will score at 2 inches. And along the 8.5-inch edge, I'll score that in half at 4 1/4. So along that 8-inch edge, I scored at 2. Along the 8.5, I scored at 4 1/4. And I'll fold that 2-inch flap up. That's going to be our pocket. And then I am going to just rescore my line so that I can mountain fold this in half. And those pockets, those are on the outside. So we'll end up with 2 pockets, and this piece here ends up being 4 1/4 wide by 6 inches tall. So in terms of height, it's the same as everything else, but in terms of width, it's wider than the pages, and it's just slightly more narrow than the cover. So you can see everything just nests and fits in perfectly. Because all of the pages or elements to this notebook are 6 inches high, I don't have to do anything with the cinch other than to pull out that very last peg. That last peg we don't need, and I don't want it to accidentally clip the edge of these pages. So by pulling it out, it actually won't get punched when the lever at the top when I pull that down. So I'm going to punch everything, the covers, all of the pages, and as well the pocket divider that I made. Now when I go to punch the pocket divider, I'm punching it on the outside edge, not the folded edge, the outside edge. And the reason for that is because that's where everything is going to be bound, and that basically closes off the pocket, so you don't even have to glue the pocket shut. Now, I lost the original footage where I actually did the binding for this notebook, but I made this notebook during a live stream, one of my Crafty Fun with Friends episodes, which I stream every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific. So here's how you do the actual binding. Set the order of all of your pages. So for the live stream, I didn't count out my pages. I just kind of guesstimated how many pages I could fit. And that is going to be determined by your coil, because you can buy those in multiple different widths. And what I have happens to be 1/2 inch. So really the thickness of my notebook can only be 1/2 inch. And what I'll do is set one of my pages in so that all of the holes has a loop going through it, and then just snip it off with some wire cutters. The full-size cinch will allow you to bind notebooks of a variety of different widths, up to, I think, an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter. So that's really great. And one big notable difference between this and the various different mini cinches, because those are limited in the mini cinch version of the spiral binding is limited to a specific width of coil binding. The other thing is that when you are shopping for your coils, you could get them in different colors, you can get them in different widths, but you can also get them at different spacing. And what's key if you are using the cinch is that you need to look for the ones that are labeled as 2-1 pitch. 2-1 pitch refers to the number of holes per inch. There are 2 holes for every inch along this 6-inch edge here. So that's why different machines require a very specific pitch or type of coil, because it's going to punch holes at that specific spacing. So while the actual method to close up the coil doesn't really matter, the holes aren't going to match up with your cinch if you don't get the 2-1 pitch variety. Now, I've ordered all of my pages front cover to back cover, but with the back cover, I'm going to flip that all the way around as if I did that with this already kind of bound. So you want to flip it all the way to the front. And by doing that, when I go to close off the loops and cinch this whole thing closed, the ends of where the 2 ends of the cinch meet up, that's going to be hidden on the inside of the notebook. So it just makes for a cleaner edge from the outside. And then you can flip your back cover around to the back again. So that is how to actually use the cinch to complete your notebook. So apologies that I have to use the footage from my live stream, but hopefully that gives you an idea for actually how to do the binding step of the notebook. The other thing that I wanted to show you in this video is a hidden paperclip. I'm planning to do this as another live stream to the Not Too Shabby group, so I wanted to make sure to include it in this video as well, because I have a lot of these scraps left over from the first 2 notebooks that I created, and I thought it might be just a little fun add-on to give away as well. Because the notebook that I made in this video, I am giving it away also. So if you are interested in receiving this notebook, I've loaded it up with some ephemera from the Paper Pad Club of the Month by Not Too Shabby, and as well some of the gorgeous embellishments from Crafty Mama Diaries. And you'll also get a hidden paperclip from me too. So here's how to make a hidden paperclip. You just need a bit of pattern paper and solid color cardstock, just using the scraps. So this piece here happens to measure 6 inches long by, let's see, I can measure it. Doesn't really matter unless you're very particular, but it's 6 inches long by 2 1/8 wide. And from my scrap piece of lightweight cardstock, this is the piece that was left over from cutting my pocket folder, I've cut this to, it ends up being about 2.5 inches wide and 6 1/4 inches long. And I will score that in half and fold it too. So both of these have been folded in half lengthwise. I'm going to round the corners, which is totally optional. It just depends on the look that you're going for. And I am going to make sure that when I stack these up on top of each other, the margin is still equal all the way around. I did find that I needed to actually trim off a little bit from the bottom. That's totally okay. You could leave it too. It just depends on how exacting you want to be. And to turn this into a hidden paper clip, I'm going to use a paper clip that is 2 inches wide and it's roughly 3/8 of an inch, or 2 inches long and roughly 3/8 of an inch wide. And on my piece of pattern paper here, I'm just using a craft knife to cut on that folded line. I'm cutting a slit that's just wide enough for me to slide the paper clip through. And that is going to peek up through the top, but I will clip it onto the solid paper, fold the pattern paper over it, and pull the paper clip through so that maybe about a quarter of an inch of the paper clip is sticking out above the pattern paper. I'm going to use some liquid glue to attach this pattern paper to my solid color cardstock. I really want this to be a nice firm stick. I want to make sure that the paper clip isn't moving. And so I'm being generous with my liquid adhesive and making sure to get it all over that pattern paper layer there. And of course, giving it a really good burnish will also help to make sure that you get a nice firm stick. And the final little touch to this will be just a bit of ribbon. It's not even that long. I want to make it a little bit easier. Well, first off, I want to make it a little bit decorative. So there is that aspect of this, but there's a practical aspect too. What I want for this ribbon to achieve is so that you can slide this paper clip down onto your notebook page, and because it's got the ribbon sticking out, it's going to be really easy to identify where this is, to grab a hold of it. You can pull on the ribbon to pull the paperclip off the page, so it's going to make it kind of turn into a bookmark as well. So that's how simple it is to make a hidden paperclip. Such a fun little accessory to add to your notebook. So you can see here, this is kind of chunky at the moment, but that's mostly because I've loaded up the pockets with a packet of ephemera. This is the matching ephemera that goes with the Paper Pad Club of the month, and as well a sample of I think it's 3 different mixes that I just mixed all together from Crafty Mama Diaries, Helen, who is also on the Not Too Shabby design team. Her embellishments are being sold through the Not Too Shabby shop as well as through her Etsy shop. So here's a look at how the paperclip works. You can just clip it right onto your page there, and you can see the ribbon just sticks out, not a ton, so it's not super distracting, but it just makes it really easy to identify where it's at and to pull it off of the page when you want. So that completes my project. If you want to win this notebook, fill out the Rafflecopter link in the description box below, and I will post a winner to my community page after the deadline for sign up. Thanks for joining me on this one, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye!